Imagine living in a time when believing in something different could cost you your life. This is the story of the early Christians, a small group of people who faced unimaginable suffering for their faith. Their courage changed the world forever. Let's travel back to ancient Rome, where this story begins. In the 1st century, the Roman Empire was the most powerful kingdom in the world. It stretched from Europe to Africa and the Middle East. The Romans worshipped many gods and believed their emperor was divine. But then, something new began to spread. A belief in one God and following the teachings of Jesus Christ. Christianity started in Judea, a small province in the Roman Empire. Jesus Christ taught love, forgiveness, and faith in one God. After his death, his followers, called Christians, spread his teachings. But the Romans saw this new religion as a threat. Why? Because Christians refused to worship the Roman gods or the emperor. This made them enemies of the state. The Romans were very suspicious of Christians. They thought Christians were disloyal to the empire. Rumors spread that Christians were cannibals because they talked about eating the body and blood of Christ, and that they practiced dark magic. These rumors made people fear and hate them. Soon, the Roman government began to punish Christians harshly. The punishments were cruel and terrifying. Christians were thrown into prisons, beaten and tortured. Some were burned alive as human torches to light Roman parties. Others were crucified. Many were sent to the Colosseum, a huge stadium in Rome, to face wild animals or gladiators in front of cheering crowds. The Colosseum was a place of entertainment for the Romans, but for Christians it was a place of horror. They were forced to fight gladiators or face hungry lions. The crowds cheered as these brave men, women, and even children stood firm in their faith, refusing to worship Roman gods, even in the face of death. Not all Christians were caught. Many survived by meeting in secret. They used symbols like the fish to identify each other. They hid in catacombs, underground tunnels where they buried their dead and held worship services. These brave believers supported each other, sharing food, shelter, and hope. Life was incredibly hard for early Christians. Families were torn apart, parents were killed, leaving children alone. Many lost their homes and jobs, but through it all, they held on to their faith. They believed that their suffering was temporary and that heaven awaited them. After nearly 300 years of persecution, something amazing happened. A Roman emperor named Constantine became a Christian. In the year 313 AD, he issued the Edict of Milan, which allowed Christians to worship freely. Though he reshaped original Christianity with Roman pagan religion, it was a relief. For the first time, Christians could practice their faith without fear. This was the beginning of a new era. Today, Christianity is one of the largest religions in the world. The courage of those early Christians inspired millions. Their story reminds us that standing up for what we believe in, even in the face of great danger, can change the world. If you visit Rome today, you can still see the Colosseum. It stands as a reminder of the sacrifices made by early Christians. Many people visit as pilgrims to honor their memory. Museums around the world display artifacts from this time, helping us remember their bravery. The story of the early Christians is one of pain, courage, and hope. It teaches us that even in the darkest times, faith and love can shine brightly. Their legacy lives on in the hearts of millions, and their story will never be forgotten. In memory of the brave hearts who stood firm in their faith,